Hi there everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. I'm going to show you the couple of reads that I've had since the start of August, so my recent reads, and I've really focused on authors that are going to attend the book signing in Italy that I'm going to visit in September. I finally purchased my ticket, so I'm definitely going, and I finally also this month got a Kindle Unlimited subscription, which will allow me to read even more new to me authors that I hopefully will meet in Italy as well. So I've been over the moon and I've been reading a lot, to be honest, so I'm just trying to catch up on new to me authors, and I've just discovered so many interesting authors and so many interesting reads that I typically wouldn't have picked up, so I'm really happy with the progress that I've been making. And I'm going to share with you a couple of interesting reads, starting with the first one that is no surprise that I picked it up. It's Love Theoretically by Hazelwood. She's actually going to be there, and she's actually Italian, so it's no wonder to me that she would want to visit this book signing because she's going to be in her home country. I'm going to take this one with me so she can sign it for me, and I actually have a meet and greet ticket where I hope to just get to really meet her and tell her how much I appreciate her books. So yeah, this one I'm definitely taking with me because I really enjoyed it. I finished it around the 1st of August actually, and it focuses on our heroine Elsie, who is a financially struggling theoretical physicist, and she's supplementing her income by doing this fake dating gig. So she's fake dating men who need her as their fake girlfriend in front of family and friends. And one of these guys that she's fake dating, he has this brother who is very suspicious of her, and they have this kind of a chemistry together, like a weird chemistry. And the thing is that she doesn't know that this guy is going to play a very big part in her job opportunity. She has this job opportunity that she absolutely would love to win, so she wants to have this job so that she can kind of climb up the ladder in the physicists world. And there is this very big kind of feud between theoretical physicists and experimental physicists, and there is this guy, like her arch nemesis, this Jack guy, who when he was young, he published some kind of paper that tarnished the reputation of her field, of the theoretical physicists, and most prominently her mentor, so she hates his guts. And when she goes to this job interview, it turns out that this guy is part of the faculty that is going to be judging her and that is going to be kind of accepting whether she's going to win over the candidacy or not. And it also turns out that he is the brother of her fake date. So it's kind of a mess. The whole premise is a bit of a mess, but it turns out so well, and the banter between the two is so amazing, and like the animosity between them because of what has happened in the past is very tangible and very real, and he is just such an amazing hero. I loved him. I did have a bit of how do you say, I kind of got frustrated at some point within the book with her being so steadfast in her hating him because he wrote that article so many years ago, that I was like on the fence whether this was going to be a 5-star read, but eventually he just won me over. I think that the hero really made the best difference within the book, and I just had so much fun with it. I literally read it in maybe one sitting, so yeah, I definitely would recommend this one. Next up, I picked up 2 books by K.A. Knight, the first one being The Wasteland and the second one being The Summit. They're actually part of a interconnected series. I only had the first 2 available to me in Storytel, so I just read the first 2. But I'm intrigued to keep on going within this series whenever the other audiobooks become available to me. The series is a dystopian white shoes romance where we have the heroine. Actually, they live in a world where kind of like an apocalypse has happened, and it's very reminiscent of what has happened in Mad Max, if you've seen that movie. So it's kind of a wasteland all over the world, and there's kind of regions where everyone is dealing with it differently, and we've got our heroine who is a champion within a competition where she's had to fight for her freedom and nobody has managed to do what she can, so she is very much a very prominent name within kind of the world that she lives in. And she meets these 4 guys who are helping her get to this summit. We don't know yet what this summit is going to kind of be. So we know that everyone from the different regions will come to this summit to kind of discuss how they're going to possibly live after everything that has happened, and she plays a key part within that. But yeah, it's very much an action-filled, spicy, white choose romance, and I did have fun with it. I really think that why I enjoyed it so much is that it really made me reminisce about the Mad Max movies, which I absolutely love. So I think that that kind of impacted my enjoyment of the book. So I gave them 4 stars. But when it comes to the romance within the books, I could have, or at least I wished for a bit more. I found that it was a bit insta-lovey at the start, and also the relationships that she has with the heroes. I do see that there is different characteristics between them so that we can distinguish who contributes what into the relationship that they have. But at the same time, I find them a bit two-dimensional, the guys. So I think that if I'm very objective in my rating, I should give it 3 stars, but I still give it 4 stars because, like I mentioned, I had a lot of fun while reading them. So yeah, I would recommend them if you have them available to you. Pick them up, try them out, see whether you like them, because a dystopian white choose romance is something that you don't come across very often, so it may pique your interest. So I've talked about the book by Charish, Reid, that I absolutely loved, Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up. So I saw that I have available to me on Storytel another book by this author. The book is called Trust Falling Into You, and it was a short one, so I decided to pick it up on a whim because I just wanted a palate cleanser, and I saw that it was just about 4 hours, the audiobook. So I picked it up, and it wasn't as successful for me as the other book that I picked up by this author. I had a bit of issues with it, mainly that, first of all, it's written in 3rd person, and I have a bit of difficulty with getting into 3rd person books when there's audiobooks that are told in a specific way. I don't know how to explain it. This one specifically, it just, I noticed it a lot, that it's told in 3rd person. And then additionally, the story was kind of, I didn't connect very well with the heroine, I think. We've got our heroine, Yolanda, and the guy's name was Sam, I think Samuel. They're co-workers, they work for the same school, both of them are teachers. She's very much like the social butterfly type of person. Everyone loves her. He is more of a recluse, and he's more like of a workaholic, really focused on his tasks and work. So she does have an attraction to him, but she's also kind of put off by his behavior. And they need to go to this team building event that takes for about a week. They go to this team building event, and it turns out that they need to be rooming together because of a certain circumstance. So they have forced proximity. They have forced proximity because they're also coupled together to do the team building events, because they're also roommates. So they get to know each other, and they see that their preconceived notions were not what they thought. But at the same time, the heroine was a bit, I had issues with her behavior and with her prejudices against the hero. So I just didn't love it as much as I had hoped. So I gave it 3 stars. Next up, I picked up a book that's totally bonkers. I don't know if there's anyone who enjoys this story, to be honest, and I don't know why I thought I would enjoy it, but the book is called Hitched by Lauren Biel. This book is about a hitchhiker, so it's a hitchhiker dark romance, and there's plenty of trigger warnings in this one. There's non-consent, dubious consent, and just honestly, the heroine, we just don't know where her mind is at. We don't know why she's making decisions the way that she is, and what her deal is with this guy who, she picks him up as a hitchhiker, and he immediately threatens her and makes her do things, and it's just not a very good book. I mean, I think I would have gotten on board if the guy somehow turned out to be semi-decent. You know, sometimes you have dark personas within dark romances where you know that they're psychopaths, but at the same time you do see some goodness in them. But this guy was just dark. He was just dark, and I don't know the words to describe him, to be honest. He's just very dark, and I don't think that there were very many kind of qualities that I could appreciate in either of the heroes within this book, so I just didn't enjoy it, so I gave it 2 stars. Next up, I picked up a book that I thought was a romance, but upon reading it, I don't consider it a romance. The book is called Soldiers of Love by Untamed. This book, I did give it 4 stars, and I'll explain why I gave it 4 stars. This book confused me a lot because it started off with a heroine who is, I believe, in her 30s. She's married, she has a good relationship with her partner, but they have kind of gotten in a rut. So he works until late in the night. He's some kind of a mechanic. He comes home one night, and then they have a good night together, and then in the middle of the night his phone goes off, and it turns out that it's a woman. So she confronts him, and he's like, yeah, she's just a friend of mine. We're not having anything together. You don't need to worry about it. But she's kind of suspicious about what is going on. And in the meantime, on a different day, she meets up with an old friend of hers from high school. And this friend is like, oh, are you with so-and-so? So she assumes that our heroine is together with the guy that she was with when she was in high school, because everyone believed that they would end up together. But that is not the case. So she starts to reminisce about her relationship with this guy that she was with in high school. And that's when we kind of get a switch to a flashback of time where we see them in high school, all of them. And it just got confusing for me. So I was like, is there a point to this flashback where we're going to need to see her developing a relationship with this other guy, and then in present time she's going to meet him again, or what is going on? So for a very large portion of the book, we were following through with what happened to her when she was a teenager and how she developed a relationship with this guy. And then the book very abruptly ended with what happens in the present time, but with a really open ending. So I just didn't get the answers that I was looking for within the book. That's why I couldn't give it 5 stars, but I did give it 4 stars because I was very intrigued. Throughout the whole book, I wanted to know what happened with both herself as being a young teenager, as well as her being in the present time. I wanted to know if she's going to forgive her man for whatever he did, if he did something, whether she was going to meet up with her old love. I was really intrigued. So the writing was really good as well. So I was really hoping to have more of the book, but it just ended abruptly. So I did give it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. I just wasn't as satisfied as I would have hoped because I just didn't get the answers that I was looking for. I'm sorry. The next book I picked up is a very interesting read because upon looking up the cover, I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm just going to try it out because the author is going to be at Rare in Florence. The book is called Space Junk, and it's by Sara L. Hudson. The book focuses on a heroine who is a brilliant engineer. She's a genius. She works at NASA, and she very much wants to become an astronaut. She basically has this astronaut friend, a woman who is already in space, and she's like her idol, and they have this kind of back and forth together when they're having meetings together. And this astronaut friend asks her to go out and live a little because she's studying the whole time, being busy with her job the whole time. So she's like, you need to relax a little, so just go out. When she goes out, it turns out that she goes to this bar where there is this birthday going on, and the birthday goes out of hand, and the birthday girl actually is left alone, very drunk and a bit in a helpless situation basically. So our heroine, her name is Jackie. She decides to help this girl out and bring her home. She brings her home to this place where there is this amazingly beautiful guy. He turns out to be the brother of this birthday girl, who kind of is very mean to our heroine when she helps out his sister. And then they have some interactions together because of said happening during the birthday party. So this is how they meet together. We've got Jackie, we've got Flynn, they're the love interests, and he is a mechanic, but what turns out is that he's actually a billionaire, but he never wanted to be part of his billionaire empire. He just wanted to fix cars, so he's a mechanic. And she's in very dire need to have her car fixed because of a certain situation that happened. So she goes to his mechanic shop so that he can fix up her car. So this book, typically I would have given such a book 3 stars because it was fun, it was engaging, but there was a lot of nerdy talk. It was fun, but it wasn't very memorable until we got to the, I think, last 20% of the book, where I really appreciated how the book was rounded up and how the epilogue really contributed to the desires of the heroine that we got to know within the book. So it wasn't the typical ending of marriage, babies, and happily ever after. Obviously there was a happily ever after, but it was really focused on the desires of the heroine, and this is what really struck me, and that is why I gave this book 4 stars. Another book that I picked up because of the author that I'm going to meet in Florence. The author is Stevie J. Cole. The book is called Cards of Love, I think. And the thing is that I didn't really research this book before I picked it up. I didn't know that it's like a young adult, almost new adult romance. I think that the best way to explain it is I just wasn't the right audience for this book. I think when I looked it up eventually on Goodreads, it had a very high rating. I think like 4.2 out of like 2,000 ratings or something like that. So I was like, well, it looks good. But then I think that it's just the demographic of younger readers who would connect with this story more. So I can imagine that had I read this book maybe 10 years ago, I would have reacted exactly in the same way. But now that I'm almost like 37, I think I've read many books that are similar to this one. We've got the typical kind of bad boy from the wrong side of tracks and rich girl who shouldn't be with said bad boy, but they fall in love, and it's the always been you situation, but then right person, wrong time situation, if you get what I'm saying. And it's a very slow burn as well, but it made me think of a lot of other stories that I've read that are similar to this one, so I couldn't enjoy it to the fullest. So I gave it 3 stars, but I can definitely imagine if you're a younger reader that you would definitely enjoy it more than I did. Next up, I picked up a book that I really enjoyed. This one was a marriage of convenience book that really worked for me. The book is called The Favor by Suzanne Wright. And I'm really happy that I picked up this book because it gave me all the right feels at the right time. We've got the classic kind of situation of billionaire who is going to get an inheritance if he marries a woman by a specific age. And our hero, he's a billionaire who just is so business focused that he has no time to think about women whatsoever. And he really has waited until the last possible moment to find himself a wife. And the only person that he can envision for this role is his personal assistant, who she's had a crush on him for a while, but she just loves her job too much to make it apparent that she likes him. And when he offers this proposal to her, she's absolutely flabbergasted because she didn't expect him to have her as like the main choice for a wife, even though she's going to be a fake wife. And he really needs to be convincing in this relationship because his family is after his inheritance, because if he doesn't marry, then the money will be distributed to other people within his family. So they're kind of like vultures. They want to see that money. So there's a lot at stake for him, at least. And then there's the situation of her having feelings for him and wanting to help him out. So it just really worked. In this book, it really worked well. I really had so much fun with it. And the fact that even though it's a fake marriage, the whole time he was very protective of her, and like the whole my wife situation of him claiming her in front of other people was very much present within this book. So it kind of melted me away most of the times when I heard it. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. The last book that I picked up during this most recent reads period is For Lucy by Jewel E. And I absolutely love Jewel E. and most of her books I've given 4 or 5 stars, but this one was just really special to me. I think that it's one of the books that just will stay with me for a very, very long time because it's so special. There's a lot of trigger warnings within this one, so please look them up before you start reading it, because it is emotional and very hard-hitting, but it's just so masterfully done, and it's so it just brings a punch to the gut and to the heart, and you just want to see the hero specifically within this book get his happily ever after. We've got a situation of 2 people who have fallen madly in love with each other. They've had this perfect relationship, and they really have a situation of it's always been you and always going to be you. So they really imagine themselves only being the ones for each other. But then something tragic happens within their life that makes them drift apart. And the one woman moves on, but the man, he just is focused on getting by and being there for his daughter Lucy. And mainly he has made a promise to his now ex-wife that he's going to love his children more than he loves her. So this is kind of the motto of his life, the thing that he's trying to live by, and it's slowly but surely kind of killing him that he's doing that, because he still very much loves his wife while she has moved on with her life. So again, it's very hard-hitting, very, very emotional, but very masterfully done. Julianne just has a way with words, and I absolutely love this story. I gave it 5 stars, and I definitely would recommend it. These were all my recent reads. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned and what you thought about them in the comments. And please let me know what are your favorite reads of the moment. I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care. Bye-bye.